Are you in? Are you in here, Darrin? Oh wow, yeah, that might help. Huh? Okay. Sorry, guys. Yeah, it would help. Sorry, guys. I'm having issues here. Of course, I am. Who is it? Sorry, guys. Oh my God. Okay. I'm gonna go mute so I can figure this out real quick. Hello.
There we go.
I'm like so all over the place today. Okay. Everyone, this is episode 5 of Talk with Tube's Ash. We got Darrin here. We're gonna go about an hour. So yeah, what do you want to talk about today, Darrin?
Well, we can talk about anything and everything.
Okay.
Whichever questions you got for me, I'll be glad to answer. Or we can go into story time. Or yeah.
Let's do a story time. Pick a story that you're willing to share and you kind of want to like get out to like help others when it comes to mental health awareness.
All right, so we can start with story time about how my life has been so far,
Okay.
which I'll be gladly to talk about.
All right. Awesome.
All right, so growing up as a little kid, I always had a great relationship with my mom. I never really had a relationship with my father because, my dad was that alcoholic type of person. You know, he took me, hunting, fishing, when I was little, but as I was growing up, I just never really connected with my father. So
Yeah.
it didn't really mean nothing to me. You know, I had more
Mm-hmm.
had a relationship with my mom. So, me and my mom were like super close.
Right.
So we're going to fast forward to, let's say, about 2019, 2020.
Okay.
So I got arrested. I went out DJing, partying, I was a DJ back then. So, I went out I would say no, October 3rd, because it was a Friday. No,
Mm-hmm.
Friday, no, it was October 4th. It was a Friday night.
Okay.
So, I got the call from one of our local bars. They wanted me to come down and do a co-set with one of my other DJ buddies. So I was like, all right, cool, I'll come down there,
Mm-hmm.
So, get down, I leave about 8:30, get there about 9. I get my set up, and me and my buddy were working off of my set.
Right.
Oh yeah, night was going good, and then get a couple drinks in me, I'm feeling good, I'm like, all right, let's go, let's crank it up a notch, bro.
Yeah.
So at that time, I already had a couple drinks in me, nothing, nothing too overpowering. But then my DJ buddy, he was like, dude, he's all like, yo, he's all like, what do you think about taking a couple of Jackson Cokes? I was like,
Mhm.
oh Lord. I was like, man, I was like, bro, I'm like, you know how much that's gonna mess me up.
You were dwelling it before you did it, bro.
Well, no, I was drinking. I had a couple Bud Lights, I had a couple Budweisers, and then I had like Red Bull and vodka, I had like a couple Red Bull vodkas, which that really don't mess me up as much. But
Yeah.
soon as he went down there and he ordered us freaking Coke and Jacks, it was over.
Right.
It was over. I was like, yo, I'm so drunk at this point.
Mhm.
And everybody kept telling me they were just like, yo, Darrin, take a lift home. Dude, you're gonna get pulled over, you're gonna get arrested. And I'm like, nah, I'm like, I'll be fine. So I'm like about 2:30 that morning, pack up everything, boom, jump in the car, and I'm driving down the road,
Mhm.
and I get down, I make it all the way down. I'm
Mhm.
getting ready to turn on the road. I'm going down to my house, and I noticed that this car was following me. So I was like, oh shit. I'm like, wondering who it could be.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, it was a freaking undercover cop.
Oh, Jesus. That's never good.
Yeah, yeah, that undercover cop. I wasn't even expecting it that night. So like,
Mhm.
as soon as he pulled me over, I popped a piece of gum. I popped like two pieces of gum in my mouth, trying to kill the alcohol smell. But like right when he walked up, he was like, yeah, he's like, why I'm pulling you over right now? And I'm like, no, officer, I don't. I'm like, I'm kind of shocked, like what's going on? He's like, dude, he's all like, it's coming back that you have no insurance. And I was like, ah, crap.
Oh, no.
I
Bro, why
told
didn't
him,
you have insurance from the beginning? What the fuck? What are
I
you
told the
thinking,
cop,
bro?
I told the officer, I'm like, oh man, I'm like, man, I'm so sorry. I'm like, I didn't even know. I'm like,
Oh my God.
my dad must have totally like forgot to tell me about this, because I'm like, technically it's under his name. So
Oh, I
yeah,
was like, bro, you gotta remember yourself, dude. But then when you said that, I got that. Okay, I get it.
so he was like, okay, and then he's like, I also smell an odor of alcohol coming off you. I'm like, huh? I did not realize that night. I did not realize that night that some chick spilled a freaking drink on me that night
Oh
because
shit.
she was so messed up. So he was like, all right. He's like, you know what? He's like, I'm gonna pull you out of the car. He's like, we're gonna do some field sobriety test on you. And at this time, I'm scared of shitless. So I'm like, I'm already sobering up as quick as possible.
Yeah, for real. I
But
mean, I
anyways,
don't know. I think I'd be really stone cold from drunk to sober real right quick in front of a cop.
oh
I'm
hell
just
yeah.
saying.
I
Fuck
freaking
that.
sobered up so freaking quick. It was freaking crazy. Like I was like literally drunk that night to being freaking like I didn't even drink that night. Because as soon as I
Yeah.
got pulled over, I was like, oh shit. I was like, my life is done.
Yeah, for real.
So, he had me do the field sobriety test. He's all like, all right. He's like, you know what? He's like, I don't want to do this. He's like, I don't want to do this, but I'm going to have to. He's like, I'm not to place you under arrest. So he put me in the back of the car. And then, ironically, it was kind of crazy that I pulled over right in front of the damn police station. So it was a short little drive.
That's wild. It was like you were destined to be there. They're like, yo, hey, guess what? Check this shit out. You're gonna go right there. Maybe they'll open up your eyes just a little bit.
So yeah, literally, it was just a quick little turnaround. He literally backed up, and then he freaking just made a little U-ey right there, and then we're like already right there, and I was like, okay. So I'm just,
Mhm.
I'm just sitting there. And I'm like, damn. I'm like, is this? I'm like, my luck finally ran out after drinking and driving all these fucking years, and it was just like, it was an eye opener for me. Like, this shit could really happen to you.
Yeah, no,
And
really.
I literally, and I literally thought that I was gonna go to jail that night. And
Mhm.
and I was like, damn, I'm like, I ain't got nobody to bail me out. So I would have probably been sitting in freaking jail for like, God knows how long, you know?
But let me ask you something right quick. I don't mean to interrupt you, but if you would have went to jail, don't you think that's the consequence of it?
Yes.
See,
That,
there you go.
that would have made me change my whole aspect of not drinking and driving and start taking, like ride shares and stuff like that. So,
For sure.
I even sitting there, I'm still sitting here sobered up as crap, I'm like, okay. I'm like, Darren, you really did it this time. You know,
Mhm.
what would your mom and dad think right now
Oh,
if
you
you
already
were
know that
if
one.
you were to hit them up? If you were to hit them up and say, hey, you know what? I'm sitting here in jail right now. Like, so I'm just like, damn. I'm like, all right. So they do everything. They take blood. They take the blood. They do my mugshot and shit like that.
Mhm.
And now I'm just sitting there waiting. And then the officer comes up to me. He's like, I'm gonna put you in a holding cell real quick. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm sitting
Yeah.
there and I'm still pondering. I'm still like, damn, I can't believe I'm sitting in a freaking cell right now. So I'm
Yeah.
like, and then he comes back like 5 minutes later and he's like, hey man, he's all like, he's like, I'm gonna go ahead and take you home.
Mhm.
He's like, I'm giving you a warning. But
Dude, you got lucky as hell.
and then he goes, that's not all. He's all like, I'm giving you a warning plus a court date. I was all
Mhm.
like, oh shit. Okay. I was like, okay. I'm like, whew. I'm like, all right, let's go. That's totally fine with me. So hop in the cop car, this time I get to sit in the front seat. He didn't put me in the back seat, thank God.
You're lucky. Very lucky.
he's like, hey man, he's like, you want us in the front? I was like, sure. Let
You're
me.
like, take me out of the back. Take me out.
I'm sitting there like, yo, like, I'm like, this is the first time I'm riding up front in a police car. I'm sitting here and there's like a freaking AR-15 next to me. There's like a freaking shotgun next to me. There's like a bulletproof vest next to me. And
Mhm.
I'm like, holy crap! I'm like, so this is what y'all really do.
You want to find out some more, sir?
Yeah, he's like, you want to find out some more? I was like, yeah. Can I flip on the siren real quick?
That's funny as hell.
So yeah, he takes me home, and we pull up to my house and open up the garage door, and the first person to greet me was my brother, and just
Yeah.
the pure look on his face was like, dude, what the fuck?
Right? Like, what'd you do, bro? How'd you get so fucking lucky?
Yes, he was like, as soon as I came in the door, he's like, dude, he's like, what fucking happened? I was like, man, I was all like, I I ran out this time, bro. I'm like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm like, my time ran out on that. But
Yeah.
I want to tell you that I am lucky to be here right now because
Yeah.
they had some other shit to do. So he was like, I'm gonna let you off with a warning, and he's like, but he gave me a court date and all that stuff. So I was like, all right, cool.
Mhm.
And then my brother goes, he's like, you know what you got to do, right? I was like, what? He's like, you need to call mom and tell her what happened. I was like, oh
Oh,
shit.
you're like, do
I'm
I
like,
have to? Fuck
I'm like, do
that.
I have to? I'm like, it's freaking 4 o'clock. I'm like, it's 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning here, and
Oh,
I'm like,
that early too? She probably mad. Oh, hell no.
and I'm like, in Texas, I'm like, they were probably like maybe like an hour ahead of us, so it was like probably like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning.
Oh,
And
geez. That's like the worst news to get in the morning. Your poor mom.
I called my mom at that about I think it was about like 4 a.m. And I was like, Mom, I'm like, I got pulled over tonight. She's like, where are you at? That's the first question. She's like, where are you at? I'm like, I'm at home. I'm like, I did get arrested. I'm like, I was sitting there, but the officer gave me grace and he let me go with a warning.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom was like, okay. She's like, thank God. she's like, thank God you're at home and you're not in jail right now. And I'm like, yeah, I know. And
For
I'm like,
real.
yeah, I'm like, the other part, I was really hesitant about telling her this, but I was like, yeah, the other part, I'm like, they towed the car. She's like,
Oh, shit.
what they pull you over for?
Wait. Hold up 1 second. I don't mean to interrupt your story, but were you in Texas at the time or were you already in Arizona?
No, I was here.
Okay.
I was here. I was here in Arizona at the time.
I got you.
My parents took a trip to Texas to go see my mom's sister.
Mm-hmm.
So me and my brother stayed behind, and they left.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
All right,
so I
cool.
told my mom. So I told my mom this. I was like, yeah, mom. I'm like, well, originally the cops stopped me for having no insurance,
Mm-hmm.
and she was like, oh, is that it? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, that's all. I'm like, that's all they pulled me over for.
Yeah.
I didn't tell her I was drunk, but she could tell that I was
She
drunk.
probably already knew, bro. She's your mom. My mom
Yep.
knew
She
shit.
already,
She knew
exactly.
every
She already
time.
knew. So, so the morning of that Saturday,
Mm-hmm.
they get back and I'm sobered up at this time, I'm a little bit more clear minded, clear headed, and I'm like, Mom, I'm like, we got to get, I'm like, you and Dad have to go down there and get the car because I can't. It's not under my name.
Right. That
They're all like,
sucks.
okay. They're all like, okay, we'll go down there. So
Mm-hmm.
Dad, Mom, brother, they go down there, and next thing I know, I hear the door. I hear the laundry door / garage door slam wide open. I'm like, oh shit. I just stayed in my room and I was all like, I'm like, this is not gonna go well. And all of a sudden, my
No.
mom, boom, busts open my door, and she's all like, Darren, are you freaking kidding me? She's like, what the hell is this shit? $192 to get the freaking car out of the impound? Are you freaking kidding me? And yeah, she really laid it into me. My dad really didn't say shit. And he was just,
Mm-hmm.
he was just like, okay.
Yeah.
And then, and then later that, after that, I sat on my bed and I was like thinking like, damn, I'm like, I fucked up big time. I'm like, I
Yeah.
can't fucking believe this. I'm like, I'm gonna have to fucking I'm gonna have to pay my dad. I'm gonna have to pay my mom back for all of this right
Yeah.
now.
Did
So
that, did
yeah,
that ever, did that, how did that make you feel to know that you had to pay your parents back for that? Did that like make you feel bad or were you like whatever about it? Like, how did you feel in that moment?
well, in that moment, I was like, you know what? I'm like, I did the crime. I have to do the time. And if that means paying them back for for them getting the car out and stuff like that, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
There was no ands, ifs, or buts about it. I'm gonna do it.
That's good.
So
That's good.
I showed my mom the the paper that the officer gave me for my court date, and she goes, well,
Mm-hmm.
you know what? She's like, your dad's gonna go with you. I'm not gonna go because I don't want to have to sit there and see my own son go to freaking jail if they choose to put you in jail. She's like, I don't want to have to see that. She's like, your dad can sit there and watch that. And I was like, all right, fair enough. You know,
Yeah.
I was
But I understand where she's coming from because that's hard to watch your kid like just get in trouble like that, and you can't do nothing about it.
yeah. I told my mom, I was like, yeah, I'm like, that's fine. I'm like, it's no problem.
Hmm.
So Then Monday morning rolls around, and I go. My dad takes me down there to the court, to the El Mirage court.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sitting there. Me and my dad are sitting there, and I'm waiting. I'm waiting for my turn. I'm waiting for my turn.
Of course.
Then finally, after like two, three people, go in front of me, the judge finally calls me up, and he's all like, he was all telling me about it. I'm like, Your Honor, I'm like, I'm truly sorry. I'm like, this is my first time ever doing something like that. I'm like, I've never done it in my life. I'm like, I swear on you, I swear to God that I will never do that again because you know what? I'm not trying to go through this again. He's like, yeah, he's like,
Yeah.
that's understandable. He's like, that's understandable, but he's like, you know what? There are still consequences for your actions. I was like,
That's what I
yes,
was
Honor, I
just gonna
know.
say, because like you can tell someone till you're blue or red in the face that like you're not gonna do it again, but then like you didn't really learn anything because like there's no repercussions or consequences. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So he was all like, all right. He's like, well, seems how it was he's like, seems how it was your first major thing that happened. He's like, you're gonna go ahead and go over here and talk to the attorney over here. And I was like, all right,
Mm-hmm.
cool. So he dismissed me, went over and talked to the attorney, and then the attorney came back and told me she was like, yeah, Darren. She's like, I know this is your first time doing something like this, so I mean, it clearly shows on your record that you really haven't done anything or committed anything, strongly like that. And I was like, yeah, I know. And she's all like, well, she's like, the best thing that we're gonna do for you right now is we're gonna drop it down to a reckless driving ticket.
Oh, you're so lucky, bro. Bless yourself, really though.
She goes, she goes, it's a $750 fine. I was like, fuck me.
Yeah, but hey, look at this way. It's better. It's better than what you could have gotten. Okay, you have to admit.
So she goes, So she goes, all right. She's like, yep, $750. She's like, you're gonna have to go through these classes.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Oh
guess
my
what?
God.
That
What?
weekend, that freaking the weekend before my classes, I went out and I freaking got smashed as shit. But I took an Uber.
Uh-huh. Well,
I
see,
took
good, there
I
you
I took
go.
an Uber. I took an Uber back out to the bar, DJ my butt off, again. But
Hmm.
I was already smashed again, and I was like,
Yeah, but the
fuck. I'm
point
like,
that you, instead of like being stupid about it, or not responsible is the correct appropriate term, but you know what I mean. But like the fact, like some people get in trouble and then they get smashed again and drunk or whatever, then they drive, and so they're not learning a lesson here at all. They're just doing the same bullshit. But you, my friend, you did the right thing, so I'm proud of you.
well, see, I kind of had to take an Uber because at that time they suspended my license,
Yeah, you don't want to take a chance
so I
there, but
couldn't.
some people are retarded and do those, sadly.
So, they suspended my license, they took it and all that, So, but yeah, that night I went out, took an Uber, got smashed, DJ'd, whatnot, and then that
Hmm.
next morning I freaking went to the classes, but I'm sitting there
Hmm.
hungover. Shit, I'm like,
Oh,
I'm
you
like,
were
here it
feeling
is.
it.
I'm like, I'm like, here it is, 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, I am not feeling it. I'm like, I got to get out of here.
That is so
So I
funny.
left. And so I left, but then the next day I went back and I
Hmm.
finished the class out. I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
So
Did you learn
that
anything
was,
though out of taking those classes?
oh yeah, don't drink and
What'd you
drive ever
learn?
again.
Good job.
Don't
Good
ever
job.
drink and drive ever again
Yeah.
because if you do, kids, and I know, for whoever is in here listening to me right now, if you are going through the same thing that I used to go through, please do not drink and drive. You always call an Uber or Lyft and leave your car at home because I can
Or
guarantee you that
someone or someone that's a designated driver. Like don't make that mistake because not only
yeah,
can you ruin your life, but you can ruin someone else's life that didn't even deserve it or ask for it, you know?
yes. So you never. You never, ever, 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 ever want to do that, okay? Because
Yes.
I can take it. I can recall one night after I dropped off my brother and my sister at my sister's place. I was
Mhm.
driving back to my parents' house, and I was, after us being out, and drinking and all that, and I'm driving home, and I'm not even halfway home yet. I'm still on the freaking freeway. I'm probably maybe about like 15, 20 minutes away from my house, maybe 25. And I'm sitting here driving along, and I call my mom. I'm like, Mom, I'm on my way home. I'm like, I just wanted to let you know that I'm on my way home, and let you know that, all right. So I have my mom on the phone,
Mhm.
and I'm driving, and all of
Right.
a sudden, all of a sudden, I just, it was just so quick. It was like so quick that it happened.
Mhm.
Somebody hit me from behind,
Oh shit.
and I was like, oh shit. I was like, Mom, I'm like, I just got hit right now. That right
Mhm.
there really sobered me up real quick again. I was
Oh,
like,
I
holy shit.
bet. That's crazy.
And I got a quick glimpse of I got a quick glimpse of the car that of the truck that hit me. It was a
Mhm.
it was a black Escalade. So I was like, all right.
Oh, damn.
I'm like, yeah, I was like, I got that, but I didn't get his license plate, which, because it was so fast that it happened. But I remember
Mhm.
the exact color of the truck and the model of the truck. So
Yeah.
I get hit, and the only thing for me to do to keep me from spinning out and freaking flipping the car,
Mhm.
I had to remain calm, grab the steering wheel with both hands, and ease up off the brake
Mhm.
so that I can slow down my speed. Because otherwise, I would have overcorrected that, and I would have probably been flip, 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 and I probably
You've
wouldn't
been
be here right
screwed. Yeah.
now.
No, dead ass. You're right.
So luckily, when that happened, there was a couple that was behind me
Mhm.
that saw the whole thing happen.
Right.
And the dude's girlfriend was a nurse.
Oh wow.
So I
Perfect.
pull, yeah.
How ironic is that? That's
So I pull,
wild.
yeah. So I pull over, after getting the vehicle slowed down, and I'm just like, I get it slowed down, and I pull off to the side, and they pull off to the side with me, and I'm
Mhm.
sitting there, and I'm in shock. Like I'm just like I can't, like I couldn't even move, and I'm shaking and all that.
Yeah.
And his girlfriend comes up to the car, and she opens up the door. She's like, hey, she's like, are you okay? She's like, she's like, I'm a nurse. She's like, don't be afraid. She's like, I'm a nurse. And I'm like, I'm in shock. I'm still like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah, you're like in pure shock and you don't know what to say, like almost like speechless,
And I
right?
was still, yeah, and I was still on the phone with my mom too. So my
Mhm.
mom's all like, hey, do you need me and your dad to come down there? I was like, yes. So,
Right.
so she's checking on me. Well, I just hung up the phone with with my mom. They're on their way, and
Mhm.
and his girlfriend's checking on me, make sure I'm okay. She's like, she was like doing, like all the tests on me and stuff like that. She's like, do you feel any
Right.
pain anywhere? She's like, do you feel any pain anywhere? Anything like that? I'm like, no. I'm like, I'm just really shook up right now.
Yeah.
So,
Scary.
so she has me get out of the car, and we walk around to the side, to the passenger side, and I'm just standing there. And at this time, her boyfriend is on the phone with Highway Patrol,
Mhm.
telling them what happened. So
Right.
then, about like 15, 20 minutes after that, Highway Patrol shows up. They're talking to me first, they're like, hey, what happened? I was like, well, I was just driving along, and I'm like, I was going about maybe 65, 70, and I'm like, all of a sudden, I'm like, I just told the officer that it just happened so fast. Like, it was
Yeah.
just so fast that it happened, and dude was gone. But, all right, then the officer goes, well, he's like, do you remember what that vehicle looked like? And I was like, yeah,
Mhm.
it was a black truck, a black truck SUV Escalade. He's like, okay, cool. So he put it out on the radio to all the other officers to be on the lookout for a damaged black Escalade truck.
Yeah.
So, I'm sitting there. I'm just like, I can't believe this fucking shit just happened to me. I'm like, damn. I'm like, holy shit. So, like,
That's crazy.
I'm still waiting for my parents to show up, and like about 30 minutes, 40 minutes after that, my parents show up. They had to go all the way down to the next exit, make a U-turn, come all the way back up the other exit just to get to me because there was no, you can't really make a U-turn on the freeway.
Mhm. Yeah.
So my parents pull up. My mom's the first one out of the truck. She comes up to me. She's like, son, are you okay? Are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm just really shaken up right now. I'm like, but I'm good. I'm okay. She's like,
Yeah.
okay. She's like, so they got so my dad comes up. My dad gives all the information. Like our. He gives my dad gives all the information to the highway patrol, like, he gives like the registration, the license plate, the insurance and all that good stuff,
Mhm.
to the highway patrol. And then he's like, okay. He's all like, we just want, he's like, we got all the information. He's like, you guys are free to go. He's like, I was like, all right. So I was like scared to drive. I was scared to drive, but you know what? I was like, you know what? I'm like, if I don't conquer this fear, I'm gonna be scared to drive on the freeway again. So you know what? I hop back in the car. Boom. I take off. My mom and dad are right behind me, and then I get home and I'm just like, wow. I'm like, I just cannot believe that this happened to me tonight.
Yeah. It leaves you in a bit of shock because you never know what's going to happen. Every day you wake up, you just don't know.
Yeah. So we're gonna fast forward a little bit here.
Okay.
We're gonna take it to June. We're gonna take the June of 2020. Um,
Okay.
I just gotten. I just got. I just gotten home from drinking that night again, and partying and DJing. And the next
Mhm.
morning I wake up. The next morning I wake up and I noticed that something was odd because
Right.
my mom's usually up and she's usually sitting in the living room with my dad watching TV.
Mhm.
And it was kind of odd that she was not out there. So I go to her
Right.
room and she's laying in bed and Mom, I'm like, you feeling okay? I'm like, is everything all right? Yeah. She's like, everything's fine. She's like, I just feel really tired. She's like, I just feel, she's like, I just need more sleep. And I'm like, okay.
Mhm.
So, Sunday rolls by, Monday rolls by, and then Tuesday finally comes and she's still not okay. And I'm like, all right. I'm like, at this time, she's telling me she can't get up, she can't move, she's in so much pain, she can't bear it. So I told her, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna call EMS.
Mhm.
So EMS comes out, they hook her up to everything like that. She still says yes, take me to the hospital. So I was like, all right. I'm like, can I come with EMS? No, because it was during the whole COVID season that
Oh
time.
yeah, that was crazy. So I get that.
So they're all like, no, they're all like, we can't have you come, you can't be there because of the whole COVID thing. And I was like, all right, I'm like, that's fine.
Mhm.
So Wednesday night, I'm laying in bed. I was talking to one of my ex girlfriends at the time,
Mhm.
and all of a sudden I get this call, and it said it was from the hospital.
Right.
When I saw that name come up on my phone, my heart literally
Dropped.
sank, just literally sank. Like I felt like I felt like time just stopped like completely
Yeah.
because I knew that this was going to be bad.
Yeah.
So I answer it. I'm like, hello. I'm like, hello. And then the nurse goes, "Hey, is this Darrin?" And I'm like, "Yes." She was like, "Hey," she's like, "I'm so and so with Banner with Banner Health." You know, she's like, I'm a nurse over here." And then she told me that when uh when they were about to do the procedure on my mom, that she started having a mass heart attack.
Oh man.
I was like, okay, because I was wondering why my mom did not message. I was wondering why my mom did not message me, throughout that whole entire day and into the night.
Yeah. Mhm.
And then the next day on Wednesday is when I got that call. The last thing that the last thing that they told me was, "Hey, we're gonna put you on with the doctor, and the doctor is gonna explain everything to you." I was like, "Okay,
Hey, listen real quick. If you need a second to just, because I know that's hard to talk about, go ahead and take that second. It's okay. Okay. I know that's deep and that's hard. And I can only imagine what you were feeling. And I don't know what that's like, but I feel for you because, not being able to be there in that moment, that's got to hurt on your heart
yeah."
and your soul, you know?
So I was on the phone with the doctor, and I go out to the living room so that my dad can hear this, so that my dad can hear this as well.
Yeah.
And all the doctor told me was, "She's had a mass heart attack. We're gonna put her on life support." He's all like, "I don't know how long." He's like, "I don't know how long it's gonna last, but," he goes, "We're gonna do our best." He's like, "We're gonna do our best to
Right.
try and keep her." So I was like, "Okay."
Right.
Y'all just keep me updated." So throughout that night, I told my ex-girlfriend, I'm like, "Hey," I'm like, "I can't be on the phone with you right now." I'm like, "This is a serious thing that's going on." I'm like, "I need to have my line open." So I was like,
Yeah.
at that time, I'm like, damn, I'm like, I ain't got nobody to turn to right now for this. I'm like, I ain't got nobody to freaking cry to or anything like that, because I'm putting my family first before
Yeah.
I'm putting my friends, my
But
ex-girlfriend,
you
whatever,
have to sometimes, especially when it comes to our parents, like,
Yeah.
when something like that serious happens, like those friends got to go for a moment. They got to go. They're not your parents. Got to put them first. So I feel that.
Yep. So then I get a call. Then I get a call back from the nurse at about like probably about like 2:30. But yeah,
Mhm.
it was about 2:30 in the morning, and she was like, "Hey," she's like, I just wanted to give you another update about your mom," and she's all like, "It's slowly deteriorating."
Oh no, you don't want
When
to
she
want
said
her to
that,
be like that.
to me,
Mhm.
I couldn't even sleep.
Oh,
I couldn't even go back to sleep that night. And
I'm so sorry, friend.
I just remembered going to sleep. I just remember staying up that night.
Mhm.
And the next morning at about 8:30, about 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning. No, actually, no, it was about 9:30 in the morning. The nurse calls me back again. And then this time she says, "Hey," she's all like, "Your mom's not getting any better." She's all like, "We need she's like, "We need you or your dad to come down and make a decision."
Mhm.
My, Let me tell you, that feeling right there, I literally
Killed
felt
you.
my soul, or I literally felt my soul and everything just leave my body.
Oh, I'm
I
so
was numb.
sorry.
I was numb. I couldn't even talk. I couldn't even speak. I couldn't even say anything.
Yeah.
And my dad asked me if I wanted to go, and I told him I couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
because it would hurt me too much it would hurt me too much for me to make that decision too. So my dad goes down there, and he calls me afterwards. He's like, hey, he's like, I did it. I literally hung
So
up
you,
the phone on my phone.
oh,
Okay,
sorry,
go ahead.
go ahead. So when you guys let her, or when your dad let her go, you weren't present, like you couldn't do it, right? Can you hear me?
Okay, now I can.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, so when he made that choice to do that, you didn't go, right? Because it was just too hard for you, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's understandable. I mean, I get that.
So yeah, when he called me and he told me that, I literally dropped everything and I just cried. I just literally dropped to my knees. I cried. I prayed to God. I was like, God, I was like, God, so help me. I was all like, you know what? I'm like, now that my mom's gone, I'm like, you might as well just take me too, because I'm like, I don't want to. I'm
Yeah,
like, I don't want to live this life without my mom.
yeah. It's got to be so
So,
hard, especially because you're so close to her and, not having her. It hurts.
so yeah, a couple weeks after that, it was during, it was, I think it was during Thanksgiving time. Yeah, it was during Thanksgiving time.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad was in the kitchen, and I was in my room. My brother was in his room, and all of a sudden, I hear this freaking crash. Boom! Like, I'm like, what the heck's going on out there?
Yeah.
Open up the door, and then all of a sudden I see my dad laying on the freaking ground. And then I'm like, Dad, I'm like, what
What?
happened? I was like, Dad, what
Yeah.
happened? He's like, I don't know. He's like, he was complaining about his hip and his knee and all that. So I was all like, oh shit. So
Yeah.
I was like, all right. And my brother came out. My brother made sure that my dad was stable. He made sure that my dad was comfortable, until the paramedics got there. So yeah, of course, I jumped on the phone again, called the paramedics, and this time I told them
Mm-hmm.
that I was like, yeah, y'all should know me by now because I've called so many times, and I'm like, this time it's my dad. So
Oh my God.
yeah, the 911, yeah, it's crazy because the 911 operator always freaking knows me when I call. They know my voice already. So
Uh-huh.
they're like Darrin, they're like Darrin, what's going on this time? I'm like this time it's my dad, and they're like okay, they're
Oh my
like
God.
we'll get him out there, and I was like all right, thanks. so so the same paramedics who would always come to my house, the same firefighters, the same EMS people, they came and they were and I
Mm.
opened up the door and they're all like okay, Darrin, what happened this time? And I'm like I think my brother shot himself in the foot.
Oh shit.
It was a joke. It was a joke to
Oh
them. I
God.
was all like, I'm like, no, I'm like, come on in. I'm like, and then that's when they saw my dad laying on the floor and stuff like that, So I was like, yeah, I'm like, it's my dad this time because
Oh my
they were out
God.
there. They were out there so many times because my dad, occasionally had like, diabetic episodes. So they
Mm.
were out there so many times and I had to call them so many times for that.
Yeah.
So, now they take my dad to the hospital, and I still can't go because it's still during COVID time. And I'm like,
Yeah.
damn. I'm like, this shit sucks.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right. I'm like, what more can happen right now? I'm like, just lost my mom, and now my dad now. Like, what
Yeah.
the heck? So me and my brother pretty much had the whole entire house to ourselves, and fucking
Mm.
just We decided to go out one night. Of course, we took another Uber again, but this time I wasn't DJing. You know, I couldn't focus. I couldn't focus on, you know, entertaining everybody while I'm going through this tough time right now. And I freaking told
There's
him
no
that, you know.
way. Like I couldn't imagine entertaining anyone. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, and I told him that. I was like, yo, I'm like, I can't do this, you know. I'm like, I can't do this right now, you know. I'm like, I just lost my parent. I'm like, I just lost a parent. I'm like, I need to take some time off. And they're like, yeah, they're like, that's no
Yeah.
problem, you know. So,
Mhm.
you know, me and my brother go out one night. Finally have my freedom of drinking again, you know. But that night took it a little bit too far than I normally do, you know. I mean, I got so blacked out drunk to where my brother had to carry me all the way home and shit like that, you know. And
Yeah.
I just remember that night that me and my brother were standing outside the front door before we went in, and I literally broke down in front of him.
Yeah.
He
'Cause
also broke down, and we
sometimes you
just
can't
embraced.
you can't hold it in for that long, especially something that deep and hard, you know?
Yeah, we both embraced each other, you know, and we just literally cried it out that night, you know, and just yeah, it was crazy, you know, and
Mhm.
we go back inside the house, you know, I'm still freaking still freaking plastered as hell, you know, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden, I swear to God, like this stuff just like started happening, and it was freaking weird, but I just remembered because before I
Mhm.
moved into my mom's room. Because I think that was the best thing for me to do. So I let my brother take my room, and then before that, I moved. You know, before all that happened,
Mhm.
I was still in the same room with him. But that night, that night when we got in the house, things started happening.
Okay, like what?
We were chilling in the living room and stuff like that. We were watching TV, you know, and all of a sudden, my brother goes outside, you know, and I'm like, okay, I'm like, oh, time to go grab me another drink, you know, because I already had like plenty of liquor at the home. And
Yeah.
I come back, my brother's still sitting outside, and then all of a sudden I see a freaking shadow move. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, is my mom playing tricks on me? I'm like, am I seeing that right? I'm like, I know I'm drunk, but what's going on?
Bro, it was her spirit. That's all, you know?
And and then all of a sudden my brother comes back in, and then all of a sudden we're in the kitchen, and then we just hear we hear this loud bang crash. Like we're
Mhm.
like, what the heck was that, bro?
Yeah.
I was like, yo, I'm like, you heard that, right? And he's like, yeah. So we're going through all about the house. And then the last room that we checked was my mom's room.
Yeah.
We do my dad's room, the laundry room, the garage, the other room, the other living room, our you know, the other bedroom, and I'm like, yo, I'm like, nothing's out of place. I'm like, everything is like still the
Mhm.
same. So
Right.
and then when I opened up the door to my mom's room, that's when things got a little bit crazy for me there,
Okay.
because all of her stuff that my dad got from the hospital
Mhm.
was just scattered all over the floor, all over the room.
Weird.
So is what I did is I closed the door and I told my brother to stay outside. I told him to stay. I told him to stand outside stand in the kitchen, and I'm like, dude, I'm like, I want you to listen, and I'm like, oh, I want you to listen, and I want you to visualize anything that's going on around you, and I'm
Mhm.
like, you let me know after I do this.
Right.
And at that time, I had to make contact with my mom
Okay.
because I know she was upset about something, and that's the reason why
Right.
we heard all the noise that night. So I sat in the room by myself, and I had my phone with me, and
Mhm.
I turned off the light, and then I had another little phone. Had another phone with me, so I turned on that, just the flashlight,
Mhm.
so you have a little bit of light in there, but also dark. So I'm
Right.
sitting there, and I can't, and I'm sitting there, and then all of a sudden I can just start feeling whatever I'm feeling. I'm getting
Mhm.
emotional. Getting, I'm not scared. That's the thing. I'm not scared. I'm just emotional right now. I'm feeling the effects of either my mom being there or somebody else being there. I don't know, but and then I said, "Mom, I'm like, are you here?" I'm like,
Mhm.
I'm like, Mom, if you're here with me, I have my phone right here in my hand, and I'm like, I have it on I have it on a recorder. I'm like, can you speak into this and let me know if that's you right now?
Oh my God.
So I waited like 10 minutes, and I played back the recording, and all of a sudden I hear this female voice coming over my recorder saying, "I'm here."
What? And was it
That
her
right there,
voice?
it was it sounded like my mom. It didn't sound like no other female. It sounded exactly like my mom's voice.
Right. Wow, that's
And then I
crazy.
go, all right. So, I back out of the recording and I start recording again. I'm like, okay, Mom. I'm like, thank you for that. And then just right then and there, in that moment, I broke down and I started crying and I just started telling my mom how much I missed her, how much I loved her, how much I wish that she was still here. And
Oh.
whatever she's upset about, I told her, don't be upset anymore. I'm like, you just know that
Yeah.
I'm here. And then I stopped again, and then I played back the recording again. And the recording that I got that night broke me down so bad. Like, it literally broke me down so bad.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
She said, I'm sorry that she goes, she's the first thing she said is, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
And then she said, I know you couldn't be there.
Oh.
And then she
She
goes,
understands and knows how you were feeling.
yeah. And then she goes, I'm upset with your dad. Like when she said that, she yelled it like in anger.
Yeah, she's
I was like,
mad.
whoa. I was like, whoa.
You're
And
like,
then at the end,
okay.
at the end of that recording, she goes, she's like, son, I love you and I miss you. She's like, don't ever give up on yourself.
Oh. You needed to hear that though, from your mom.
Yeah. So at the end of that session right there, I go, I told my mom, I was like, I'm like, don't worry. I'm like, everything's gonna be all right. I'm like, I'm here. I'm like, I love you. I miss you every single day. And I'm like, I'm gonna continue to keep fighting every day to not
Mhm.
hurt myself, to not to not do anything to myself, and to not put myself through any pain.
Right.
And I go, Mom, I'm like, is there anything else that you want to tell me before you go? And she's like, yes. And she goes, I will always be in your heart. She's like, I will always be in your soul. And she's like, I will always
Mhm.
be looking down to. She said, I'll always be looking down on you, no matter where you go.
Hmm.
I played these recordings for my brother because my all my recordings automatically save, and I played those for my brother, and my brother even got emotional about everything that she was saying.
Yeah, it's very deep, but like crazy though at the same time.
Yeah. So fast forwarding a little bit here, while my dad was in the hospital for like a long time. Like, well,
Mhm.
he was in the hospital for a long time, but then he came back.
Mhm.
And then, a year goes by, everything's still good. Everything's good with him, but then I think the whole thing is that the reason why he stopped taking his meds was because he was missing my mom so much. Even even
Mhm.
though even though they've had their differences, I know he was missing my mom so freaking damn much, and it was just killing him.
Oh.
He stopped taking his meds. He stopped caring about life. He stopped caring about everything, and
Right.
he just slowly let himself get into this. He slowly let
Mhm.
himself get into all this depression and just not wanting to fix himself.
Right.
So May 20 May May 24th, 2023.
Mhm.
I wake up, I go to my brother's room. I'm like, did you hear anything? I'm like, did you hear anything back from the hospital yet? And my brother looked at me, but he couldn't really say anything to me when I said that to him. So right then and there, I knew that something was wrong.
Yeah.
And he's like, bro, I don't want to tell you. He's like, I'm too upset and emotional to tell you. And I'm like, you don't even have to tell me right now. I'm like, I already know.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to believe it.
Absolutely.
So then I get a call from hospice. The nurse calls me and I answer it. And
Mhm.
she's like, hey, she's all like, I just want to let you know that your dad didn't make it.
Oh no.
I literally was on the phone with that nurse for about a half an hour, just crying my eyes out,
That's so too
bawling my
bad. I'm
eyes,
so sorry.
bawling my eyes out to her because she was the last person that was with my dad before he passed.
Oh wow.
And she told me, she goes, he wanted me to tell you something before he passed. And I was like, what was
Mhm.
that? And needless to remind you, I've never had a good relationship with my father. I never had anything with my dad. Did me and
Right.
my brother go, did me and my brother go visit him while he was in rehab? Yes. We went to
Mhm.
rehab and I visited him a couple times before he passed.
Right.
And I just remember having a conversation with my dad one day. And I told my dad, I was like, you know what? Like, I know we really haven't had a father son bond. I'm like, I know
Mhm.
you did stuff with me when I was a little kid and all that, and I'm truly appreciative of that. But I'm like, I'm like, Dad, growing up, you just never really saw anything in me. Like, you never saw any potential of me, of doing anything or even capable of having a job, or anything like that.
Mhm.
And then my dad, he gets quiet. And that's not like him.
Right.
He goes, and he goes, son, he's like, you know what? He's like, I gotta tell you something. He's like, well, I'm like, what's that? He's like, you're right. I was like, huh? He's like, you're right about everything. And he's like, and he goes, I want to apologize to you for how I treated you growing up.
Oh. You need to
He's
hear
like,
that though, you know?
yeah. And then he goes, he's like, he's like, no matter what, he's like, I love you. You're my son. And
Yes.
he's like, he's like, nothing would ever change that. And I'm like, I know, Dad. I'm like, I
Mhm.
understand that. But I'm like, you could have been more supportive, throughout my time. And he's like,
Right.
I know. He's like, I should have. So me and my brother looking at the time, and we're like, yeah, I'm like, the visiting hours are about to be over, so me and my brother are about to head home and stuff like that. And then my dad goes, he's like, son, come here real quick. I was like, what? He grabs me with like the biggest hug ever,
Oh.
and then he tells me, he's like, I love you. I love you a lot.
Mhm.
I just started bawling. I just started
I
bawling and
don't.
crying. Like, I just couldn't believe this because here I'm sitting here thinking like, damn, is this, is this his way of telling me that something might happen right now?
Yeah.
I was like, wow. This could be it.
Mhm.
So one day after a couple of days goes by, I was always calling my dad, now that we have that established, I was calling my dad, making sure that everything was good. I was like, making sure everything is okay, and
Yeah.
there was one day where he didn't answer his phone. So I freaking called the rehab place and I was like, hey, I'm like, I've been trying to get a hold of my dad, for the past 24 hours. I'm like, is everything okay? And the nurse goes, he went back to the hospital. And I
Mhm.
was like, oh my God. I'm like, what happened? And
Right.
she goes, has your dad ever had a history of having seizures or anything like that? And I was all like,
Mhm.
no. I'm like, it doesn't run in our family. Not that I know of. I'm like, I've never had a
Yeah.
seizure, I'm like, my mom's never had it. So, they were telling me all that, that he had a seizure while he was in the rehab center, and his blood pressure was high, his blood sugars were high, like pretty much everything was high.
Oh God, that's not good.
So, and is what they failed to tell me is that my dad actually went into a coma.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. They failed to tell me that he went into a freaking coma. So I'm like, all right. And I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the hospital. I'm waiting for the hospital to call me. I'm literally waiting for the hospital to call me because I know that they have the right information
Right.
on the number that I get on the number that they have.
Mhm.
So the next thing I know, me and my brother are at home. It's probably like 12, about 11, 12 o'clock in the afternoon, I hear a knock on the door. And I look out, I see a cop car in front of the house. I'm like, what the fuck? So I open up the
Oh,
door.
weird.
Yeah. Well, the knock, I opened up the door and it was a police officer. He's like, hey,
Mhm.
he's like, are you Darrin? I was like, yeah. I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, are y'all here to arrest me or what? What did I do?
Oh my God, damn.
the cop, the cop started busting up laughing. He started busting up laughing. And he's all like, oh man. He's like, nah. He's like, I just wanted to come by and tell you that the hospital's been trying to get a hold of you about your dad. And then I was like, okay, all jokes aside, I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm, I'm like,
really.
all jokes aside, time to get serious now.
Yeah.
so,
Seriously.
so I was like, all right. I'm like, so I called the hospital. I called Banner where he was at,
Mhm.
and I was like, hey, I'm looking for my dad. I'm like, is he there? Nurse goes, yeah, he's here. Um, we just want to let you know that he's in ICU right now and he's in a coma. I was like, fuck.
Oh my God.
So I'm like, all right. I'm like, just keep me posted about everything. And as soon as I got off the phone with the hospital, I called my aunt. My dad's sister, which is my aunt. I called her up. I told her what's going on, and she's like, okay. She's like, just keep me posted on if anything happens. And I was like, okay.
Right.
So see, February, March, April, May. So it was back in April. It was back in April 2023
Mhm.
into May. So in April is when the last time that the hospital talked to me, and then a few weeks go by. The nurse called me and she tells me, "Hey, you know what? Your dad's still in a coma, but he's slowly making progress." And I was like, "Okay."
Mhm.
And then a couple weeks go by after that, and then that's when I got the call. That's when me and my brother both got the call saying that my dad was passed on May 24th.
Right.
So
Oh my
I just
god.
cried. I cried. I bawled. I can't believe I just went through this moment with my dad while he was in the rehab center.
Yeah.
For him being gone now,
And
and that's
it's not like it was one of your parents, it was both of them, you know? And
yeah.
that's crazy, but deep.
So yeah, I cried because
Yeah.
that was the last parent that I actually had.
Yeah.
So after I got off the phone with hospice, called my aunt, told her that he's gone.
Mhm.
Now my aunt, I thought she was gonna take it pretty hard. No, she
Really?
started, yeah, she started getting on my ass. She's like, "See, Darren, your dad told you that he wasn't gonna be here for very much longer, and you needed to find yourself a job, and you need to find somewhere to go, and da 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 da."
Whoa.
That
I
was
mean,
like
yeah,
the first thing that my
you you know that you have to do these things, but it's like that's not the time right now. Like you just lost
exactly,
your parents. It's not the
exactly, and
time.
I'm like, I just told you. I'm like, is this all you care about right now? I'm like, Dad just freaking passed, and now you're freaking getting on my butt about this crap. I'm like, oh hell no.
Yeah, seriously.
So my aunt freaking tells me, she's like, all right, Darren. She's like, you need to call whatever bank that your dad was banking with to see if there's like any money or intuition in there, for you or anything like that. So, I called the Air Force. I called the
Uh
Armed Forces Bank because that's a bank that my mom and dad had.
yeah.
So I called them up, and I was just, I didn't want to make it obvious, but I just told them like, hey, I'm like, I just wanted to check to see if my dad, if he left, if he left any inheritance to me, like anything.
Yeah.
And the bank goes, nope. We're looking at the files right now, and they're like, there's absolutely nothing. I was like, okay. I'm like, thank you. And then like
Oh my
a couple days
god.
after that, I think they knew exactly why I was calling and asking them that question because next thing I know, my dad's accounts get closed out.
Ooh. Scandalous. Just a little
So
bit.
I
Yeah.
think they knew. So I think they knew exactly why I called and I was asking that question.
Yeah.
Like they weren't stupid.
Yeah, because it's like they all of a sudden the accounts are closed. That's fishy as hell.
Yeah. So, but at that time, I had a job and I was working and all that. So I had money coming in.
Mhm.
So now I'm sitting here. I'm like, damn. I'm like, I know I don't make enough money to pay for this freaking house when we owe freaking $1,800, for rent and shit like that. So I'm like, yeah. I'm
Yeah.
like, there's no fucking way. I'm like, I'm gonna be able to pay for that shit.
Yeah. Totally. I get
But
it.
the electricity bill I was able to cover for like a couple months.
Mhm.
The water, I was able to cover. Well, yeah, the water I was able to cover for sure because our water bill was like only like $50.
Right.
But as the months started going along, I'm like, I told my brother, I'm like, dude, I'm like, we're gonna have to make a decision right now. He's all like, yeah, I know. He's like, because we're not gonna be able to stay here. He's like, we're not gonna be able to. to keep up with this. He's like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to. He's like, I know sis, but she's only gonna allow one person to come and stay with her. And I'm like, yeah, I know, because I know how my sister is.
Yeah.
So with me being the odd man out, I was like, all right. I'll gladly take whatever right now, take the
Yeah.
consequences. So my brother, so my brother takes our dog, takes our family dog, goes to my sister's house, and starts living there. In the meantime,
Mhm.
I take the car. This was August. This was August 4th. August 4th is when I finally left. Got evicted from the house,
Mhm.
and the only thing I took with me was just my clothes and whatever else I had, and that was pretty much it. And
How
I
did you
ended up
feel
going.
when you got evicted like that? Was that hard for you?
Oh, trust me, it was hard for me because I'm like
I bet.
I'm sitting here and I'm like I have nowhere to go. I'm like I have no place to go. Nothing. I'm done. I'm screwed. I'm fucked. I'm everything right now. I'm like shit. And I'm like, and at that time, I
Mhm.
quit just before, like after my dad passed. Yes, I was working, but then after my dad passed, I left my job
Right.
because I'm like it was just too much for me. So I'm like, you know what? So now I'm really screwed. I'm really screwed at this.
I know
So I
that feeling, bro. I know it.
just so I just jump in the car, right? And
Mhm.
I'm like, all right. I'm like, where am I gonna go? Well, we'll just go to
Right.
Walmart. Let's go to Walmart.
Mhm.
We'll just go sit in the parking lot. So
Why not?
and it was
What else we got to do?
exactly, and needless to remind you, here in Arizona, it's 100 and something
Mhm.
degrees outside. Let's say that right now, okay?
Okay. Yeah. Trust me. I would. Oh no. Oh no.
So
I would
it's a
cry like a
hundred
little
degrees.
B word.
It's 100 degrees outside, right? And I'm sweating my ass off, every day, just trying to make it, Um, only on my second day when I was homeless, I ended up going into Walmart and sitting at the McDonald's. And at this point, I'm sitting there and I am dead ass, feeling sick to my stomach. I'm dizzy as fuck. My speech is not where it should be right now. And I go to the Walmart employee and I tell him, I'm like, hey, I need you to call the paramedics right now because I'm like, I am not feeling well. And I get on the phone and I tell my aunt, hey auntie, I'm here at the Walmart sitting inside McDonald's. I'm like, I'm not feeling well. I'm like, I think I'm gonna have to go to the hospital.
Mhm.
Now, needless to remind you, I freaking hate hospitals. Okay, that's why I would never
Me
go to
too.
a hospital. That's why I
Hell
would never
no.
go. That's why I would never go. Like, my mom and dad were in there. No,
Mhm. Yeah. No, I get it.
I hate hospitals. But you know what? Now that I realize that I lost both my parents, and now that I'm in this
Mhm.
situation, I'm like, I needed to get the help that I needed.
I understand that.
So,
And that's good that you recognize that because a lot of people don't, you know?
they load me up. They load me up on the stretcher, and they put me in the ambulance. And I'm like, oh shit. I got my keys. You know, they're like, you want to bring your keys with you? And I was like, yeah, because I'm not gonna leave them. I'm not gonna leave them sitting in my car, for somebody to fucking jack that shit. Hell no. So, I'm sitting in the back
I
of
hear
the ambulance.
that.
I'm sitting in the back of the ambulance and I'm riding, I'm feeling like shit still. And at this time they have a fucking IV fucking hooked up to my arm and shit. And I'm like,
That's
I'm
always
like,
fun. Not really.
I'm like, you know what? I'm like, think I'm just gonna take a nap, you know.
Bro, I think that's all
So
you could do.
I'm in the back of the ambulance and I'm riding, you know, and I'm like, I fall asleep, you know, and then the paramedic, when we get to the hospital, you know, he's like, hey, we're here. And I was like, I wake up and I'm like, okay. So I'm sitting, you know, they wheel me in, you know, and then they put me in a room and stuff like that, you know, and I'm just chilling there waiting, you know, and I'm just like, what the what I'm like, what the hell is my life coming to? Like, I just couldn't help but to just sit there and just wonder about that, you know, and
Yeah, and I can understand that fully because that's what I went through. And you feel really a lot of depression hits you, you know?
oh yeah,
And you just don't know which way you're going to turn, what's going to happen, and not knowing what's going to happen is the scary part. Well, for me, it was at least. I don't know about you.
oh yeah, it was scary for me too. Trust me.
I bet.
So you know, I'm laying up in the hospital, right? You know, and it's already getting close. It's already getting close to time and all that, you know. And I'm like, all right. So, you know, they tell me that I was dehydrated. They said I was suffering from dehydration and lack of food, and my blood pressure was really high. My blood sugars were high and all that stuff. Uh, After that, they let me go. So I'm gonna fast forward a little bit here. Um,
Okay.
a couple weeks prior, a couple weeks to about 2 weeks of me being out there on my own, I met another homeless guy. He he bought me food.
Oh,
You know,
wow.
he bought me food. He bought me drinks, not like alcohol drinks, but like you know like water, soda, and stuff like that.
Right. That's truly a
So then
blessing when you don't have anything, you know?
yeah. So me and him were just you know think we're chilling at Walmart. We are chilling at Walmart, and he was like, "Hey man," he's like, you know, how'd you end up homeless right now? And you know, I told him what happened. He's like, "Oh man," he's like, "I'm so
Hmm.
sorry to hear that." He's all like, he's like, "Well," he's like, if you don't feel like this life is for you," he's like, "I got somewhere." He's like, I got somewhere for you to go."
Wow.
I was like, "Okay." So then that's when he handed me a card for the Phoenix Rescue Mission.
Hmm. Very nice.
So I so that weekend I go up to the surprise center and I tell them what happened. And ironically, they
Mm.
gave me the same exact number to the Phoenix Rescue Mission. So I was like, okay, this must be a sign. My God is giving me a sign here, you know, like.
Yep. Dead ass.
So I call that day, and I speak to the guy. I speak to a guy by the name of Alex Garcia. He was a case manager over there at the Phoenix Rescue Mission. And
Uh-huh.
I told him my story. I told him that I didn't want to be out here anymore. I was like, I can't do
Right.
it. I can't handle it. I need to come in. So he's like, all right. And then one question that he asked me was, he's like, do you have a car? And I was all like, I do.
Hmm.
So in order for me to get to the Phoenix Rescue Mission, I had to leave my car and have them pick me up.
Where'd you leave your
So,
car at, though?
so I left my car I left my car in a Burger King parking lot right next to Circle K.
Oh, okay. I'm like that's not random, but okay.
and I left my car with the same guy who helped me get into the Phoenix Rescue Mission. And I told him, I was like, I want you to take care of this car. I'm like, once I get out of the Phoenix Rescue Mission, I'll be coming back and looking for you.
Oh, that's amazing of you that you did that, but he did something big for you too, you know?
Yeah.
That's what it's really about though. That's what I don't think a lot of people understand that. Like when you have nothing and I've been in that situation and people give you something that can mean a whole lot of everything to you and change you for the better, you always want to pay it forward because you remembered
Yeah.
that at that weakest time of your life, that rock bottom moment, and then you will remember that through your whole recovery and everything that you've been through and in life in general. And that's like what I wish, why I'm doing this is because to get that word out, because I believe
Yeah.
that our society could be better and different. It just takes people to do it, the steps to do it
So I
and the
remember,
effort to do it.
so I still remember to this day, August 17th was the day that I got picked up by the Phoenix Rescue. Went into the, went to that facility, went to that shelter,
Hmm.
and I went through their, I went through their RAP program. It only
What is
took
that?
me, it's a RAP assessment in place,
Okay,
or
gotcha.
rescue assessment in place.
Okay.
So I went through. I was only in there for like 11 days.
Hmm.
They felt like it was time for me to move into the main building.
Right.
No. I passed it. Case manager said, "Hey, you're ready." Oh. I was like, "Oh hell yeah, let's go!" And then that's when there,
Yeah.
and then that's when it really started for me. So going through foundations at the Phoenix Rescue Mission was really amazing. I had
Hmm.
really amazing recovery coaches there, counselors that really helped me understand about my true addiction, which was alcohol.
Yes, and I
Ironically.
fully ironically, right? I fully understand that because I went through addiction myself, and I explain on all my other episodes. So I think it's great with you because we're so similar. Um, I don't understand the parent aspect because I don't really, I don't have it like that with my parents. I wish I did, but I don't. But like, losing them would probably like hit me the hardest. If I think when I think about it and imagine me in your shoes, it would hit me hard, obviously, because you're still my parents at the end of the day. But the whole alcohol journey, I can relate to so much. And because I was there just like you, I was at rock bottom. I had nobody. I went through the steps and everything. And sometimes a lot of people don't understand, but when you do it for yourself, it changes your whole world. It changes everything. Like the people
So,
you hang out with, the people you are, just everything.
so I'm gonna explain a little bit about the Phoenix Rescue Mission a little bit. So
Okay, we have like a few minutes left, okay?
the first stage is just opening up to your addiction. The second stage
Right.
is inner healing. The second stage is inner healing. That's where you open up a little bit more about your addiction and what you've been through. And then
Hmm.
the third stage is life skills. This is where you start learning how to handle money, budget money, and learning to have a stable life. Learning to have a stable life again.
Right.
New start, new start. That's when you start putting in your applications, and then you start looking for work.
Right.
Now, once you pass that stage, then you go into the graduate stage. The graduate stage, you get you know, you have a roommate. You're a graduate of the program. That means, you
Okay.
know, so even if you get a job during New Start and you're still working as you're a graduate, you're good. You're fine. Boom.
Yeah.
And I just want to put this out there right now that the Phoenix Rescue Mission did work for me. I went through that program. I went through that program all the way through, graduated. I was a graduate of the Phoenix Rescue Mission, got a good job working with St. Vincent de Paul. St. Vincent de Paul helped me get my own place as I am right now.
Wow.
And then
Good.
and then I just lost my job with St. Vincent de Paul because they were cutting back on fucking hours again, like always, you know.
Yeah.
So, but now we're slowly starting to get things back together, and I think you know what I mean by when I say that. So,
Yes. So, I do have a few questions. So, when you were like doing this whole process in recovery, did you go through the whole 12-step program, or was that a part of it? Because
Yeah.
I'm not sure because I don't really know the place and familiar with it. So, I'm just kind of wondering,
Yeah, so I did go do the whole 12 steps, everything like that, you know, and it's helped me big
how
time.
was it for you?
It was a struggle at first
Yeah,
because I was still just barely getting used to living a single and sober life, you know,
yeah,
and to realize that, hey, you know what, you're doing this on your own right now. But I wasn't really doing it on my own because you know what, I had 200 plus brothers that were there backing me up and that had my back and that were going to hold me accountable for everything.
yes, that part right there. But you also can't forget, the main person, God.
Exactly. You know what? I tell everybody this today. God put me at the Phoenix Rescue Mission for a reason,
Yep, to save you.
to save me, and look at where I'm at now.
There you go. Let's see what other questions I have. If you could tell anyone that like any people or viewers that watch this podcast, what kind of important information would you tell them, or what kind of advice would you want to give them?
All right, so for whoever is listening right now, whoever is in here, whoever is listening, if you're going through the same, if you have the exact identical addiction like me and Ash have here, I just want you guys to know that God is on your side. He will provide for you. If you believe and you trust in him, he will guide you down the right path and he will get you the help that you need. Don't ever don't ever give up on God. You always got to trust him. And trust me, he will lead you down the same path that I'm right here right now. And I just want y'all to know that Jesus, God loves you.
I agree, and I just want to chime in real quick. I think everyone that came to hear out this episode, we're making it farther into our 12 episodes. I thank all the guests that have come together so far, the team I have behind me to make this like a reality. I know that like my mission is just to help people and save people because I mean, not like I had that, but like I always say in my other episodes, I never want anyone to experience that rock bottom alone because there could have been a chance I never made it. There could have been a chance you never made it. But the fact of the matter is, gaining all the pain you have in you or the trauma or stress, it could be anything, but using all that and turning it into power to making yourself something way bigger than yourself is seriously amazing, and it is possible. And I want people to know that like don't don't care what other people think. They're not living your life, okay? You're living your own life, but if you are going through something serious and you're battling it, don't try to just handle it on your own. If you feel like it's too much and it's overtaking your whole soul and body, ask for help. People are there to help.
Exactly.
I'm there. Everybody's there. Um, None of us are perfect. We're only human. And I want to get out there that like, don't be ashamed of yourself because the first step is realizing you have a problem and accepting that you have a problem, admitting you have a problem, and then moving forward, be like, hey, I need help. Can you help me? Yeah,
Oh
absolutely.
yeah.
You know?
And for everybody that's still listening in here, and for everybody who is watching us, I do have a little announcement to make that one of these episodes, it's gonna feature yours truly right here, DJ Desire. He's gonna be doing a little performance for y'all.
Okay, okay. We are collaborating. I'm bringing Talk to Ash with his DJ services, and we're kind of collaborating together and making it way bigger than what I like imagined. So
Yep.
we're going places. I think that I'm trying to see how the viewers and what people think and the feedback I get after the 12th episode. And if it does really well, like I'm thinking it is so far, we're going to move into a talk show. So, yep, we're doing it.
Most definitely, y'all. trust me, things are coming. Things are going to be coming for me and Ash, and they're. I mean, right now it's a progress, but me and her,
Yeah.
we're like this. We're a great team, and we're going to continue to build this up into something good. You know, for anybody and everybody who has addiction or who is going through addiction or who has just any type of problems, y'all can always come and talk to us. I'm not only a DJ, but I'm also a good listener too. So, you know.
He definitely is. Also too, I'm gonna let you guys know, like I advertise a lot on TikTok and I'm trying to
Mhm.
get I just got on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I'm gonna be putting links and stuff on my TikTok. We're coming out with the website. I'm also gonna get ready probably this next coming week to start doing a booking platform where we could do one-on-one sessions. I want you to know clear as day, I'm not certified yet. I'm 47 credits away from graduating and then I'll be certified. But this is just like counseling, like just you need someone to talk to, you need someone to listen, you need advice. Nothing crazy. I'm not going against protocol or anything. But I am going to be doing booking sessions one on one. I think they're going to be about like an hour long. So I'm going to get that up probably actually tonight. So like I said, we're moving through stuff, getting through stuff. It's just crazy. Like you never know what to expect, and God always has a plan and a path for a reason. So just know that. If you want to give me or Darren any feedback, that's great. I greatly appreciate that. I absolutely appreciate my team behind me though. Like seriously, my supporters and everything. I would not be here right now if it wasn't for you guys. And the fact that it did something, it stuck, and we're creating something way more huger than we thought is just truly a blessing. And I want to thank you all for that. Okay.
And if y'all want to show us some love, y'all can go to our TikTok bios. I have added both mine and hers in my bio that y'all can go check that out. Make sure y'all give me a follow. Make sure y'all like my videos, like my photos, you know, stuff like that. Also like her page, her photos, her videos, everything, y'all. And we will truly appreciate that support from each and every one of y'all.
Absolutely. Okay, so we're going to end it here. Thank you guys so much. And thank you so much, Darren. I appreciate your story and being able to come out because that's really deep and personal. So thank you for that. And you turned out amazing, and I'm really proud of you. I just want you to know that.
Thank you, and you're very welcome.
Okay, I'm going to end it now, all right?
Alrighty.